up now.
You don't look so good, Mom.
Nothing a big old kiss from you won't fix.
Stephen King's seen it all, but these 10 modern horror films left even the master of horror impressed. From unsettling indies to big-budget nightmares, this list is packed with the best of the best. If King says you need to watch these, are you really going to argue? In Late Night with the Devil, the producers of the talk show Night Owls with Jack Delroy are desperate to boost their ratings to compete with Johnny Carson. Jack Delroy, still grieving the loss of his wife to cancer, agrees to a bold, ratings-grabbing idea, a Halloween-themed live episode featuring an allegedly possessed girl. While the movie has been making waves for both good and bad reasons, especially after the directors admitted using AI, Stephen King himself gave it high praise. "It's absolutely brilliant. I couldn't take my eyes off it," King tweeted. "You can catch it on Shudder, and as King says, your results may vary, but I urge you to watch it when you can."
So much sadness. I see a wedding ring. An unmarried man with a wedding ring. The spirit needs to talk to you. Who are you?
Zach Cregger's Barbarian is a masterclass in suspense. It follows Tess Marshall, who arrives at her Detroit rental late at night, only to find another guest, Keith Toshko, already booked. After some hesitation, she decides to stay the night. The next day, things go well, until Keith finds a mysterious door in the basement. What lies beyond that door is something you'll never expect. With a narrative that flips the script more than once, Barbarian is not only one of the scariest films of 2022, but also a fresh take on body horror. Stephen King himself said on social media, "That movie blew me away. It was crazy. Crazy good."
How long he likes to nurse.
Oh, God.
Ty West's X is a gritty homage to 70s horror that brings the genre into fresh, disturbing territory. Set in 1979, it follows an adult film crew that rents a guest house on a remote farm to shoot their next movie. But the elderly farm owners, especially Pearl, don't take kindly to what's happening on their property. When Pearl's long-suppressed desires turn into homicidal rage, it's a bloodbath. Mia Goth shines in her role, making X one of the best horror films of the year. Stephen King had no doubt saying, "X is an extremely good horror movie. Scary, smart, knowing, and entertaining." No One Will Save You by Brian Duffield presents a uniquely terrifying story with hardly any dialogue. Caitlin Dever stars as Bryn, a young woman isolated from her community, living alone when she discovers an alien invasion is underway. What follows is a tense, nearly wordless battle for survival. Stephen King called it brilliant, daring, involving, scary, comparing it to a 60-year-old Twilight Zone episode, The Invaders. This sci-fi horror gem deserves all the attention it's getting. Evil Dead Rise brings the terror of the Evil Dead franchise to an apartment complex in Los Angeles. After an earthquake reveals an underground chamber, the release of a demonic force turns Ellie into a rampaging deadite. Her sister Beth must fight to survive while chaos ensues around them. Packed with gore, blood, and nods to the franchise's roots, Evil Dead Rise became a horror highlight of 2023. Stephen King, always a fan of the genre's gruesome side, tweeted, "It's gruesome, it's bloody, it's even got an elevator vomiting blood, not to mention chainsaw foo." In the Autopsy of Jane Doe, father-son morticians, played by Brian Cox and Emil Hirsch, are tasked with examining a body found at a crime scene. The body, buried in a basement, is completely unscathed, yet everyone else at the scene was brutally murdered. As they dig deeper, strange and terrifying phenomena begin to unfold, leading them to realize this is no ordinary corpse. A fresh take on witchcraft horror, The Autopsy of Jane Doe delivers spine-chilling suspense and clever writing. Stephen King himself said, "This is a visceral horror to rival Alien and early Cronenberg. Watch it, but not alone. You can stream it on Netflix." Set in 17th century New England, The Witch tells the story of William and his family, who have been excommunicated from their village and forced to settle in a remote forest. As eerie events begin to plague their new home, the family spirals into paranoia, believing their teenage daughter Thomasin to be a witch. This atmospheric horror, directed by Robert Eggers, masterfully explores religion and fear in early America. King himself was shaken by the film, saying, "The Witch scared the hell out of me." And it's a real movie, tense, thought-provoking, as well as visceral.
Boo! There you are. Boo!
In Guillermo del Toro's Crimson Peak, Edith Cushing, a successful author in early 1900s New York, is swept off her feet by the mysterious Sir Thomas Sharp. After her father's suspicious death, she marries Sharp and moves into his decaying mansion, where she is haunted by terrifying ghosts that seem to hold dark secrets about the Sharp family. With stunning visuals and a gothic atmosphere, Crimson Peak stands out as an underrated gem of the past decade. Stephen King was floored, tweeting, "Gorgeous and just freaking terrifying."
Tell me what you want from me.
You're imagining things.
She does everything. I have to leave. This is your home now.
In The Black Phone, set in the late 1970s, a child abductor known as the Grabber is terrorizing Denver. When Finney is kidnapped and locked in a soundproof basement, he begins receiving calls on a mysterious black phone from the spirits of the Grabber's previous victims. Based on a short story by Joe Hill, Stephen King's son, the film is a tense, supernatural thriller that echoes King's own style. King himself summed it up perfectly. It's Stand By Me in Hell.
Oh, tell me your name.
Taylor. Taylor Mullen.
I was really starting to like you, Finney. I almost let you go.
Malignant is a wild, campy horror film from James Wan, following Madison as she experiences terrifying visions of real-life murders. As the bodies pile up, she begins to suspect she's more connected to the killings than she realized. The film delivers over-the-top, chaotic horror that's undeniably entertaining. Stephen King had a blast with it, tweeting, "I watched Malignant on HBO and thought it was brilliant. For a movie as off the wall as Malignant to earn that praise, that says it all."